Hello guys. So as you can see on the screen, I have revised my answer to Shock of God's question, provide proof and evidence that shows atheism is accurate and correct. In response to a video that he made about me, which actually is fair enough, you know. He made a video about me which was, I kind of understand, because in a way I didn't answer the question. I mean, the question, I understand. I understand why he would get frustrated, because I understand that basically every single person that he asks always says, "Oh, that doesn't make sense" or anything. And that's exactly what I did. And it was possibly my naivety and foolishness which caused me to do that. But it was my first video, and I didn't really see that there were all these other people that have basically done this and that. It's already been done before, so I've tried to look at the question, look at it in real detail, and come up with the simplest answer possible, which is what I've done. And it's actually what you can see on the screen right now. Is my new answer. So I'll go through that first, and then I'll explain a bit about it and about why it works. And I hope Shock of God will make a response to this and tell me why it doesn't work, because I mean, I haven't found a flaw in it, but I'm sure there is one. There is always a flaw. Nothing is ever perfect. But first of all, I just want to apologise for not being able to make a video this week. It's not. It's just been a lot of stuff on this week. A lot of work. A lot of assignment. Well, one big assignment, really, not a lot of them, I should say. One big assignment, and I haven't been feeling that well. So if you hear me stuffing my nose or anything, I do apologise. I'm really not feeling that great at the moment, but I've been able to make a video, and I needed to. So, first of all, after that, secondly, I suppose, Shock of God, I'm sorry for not answering your question directly, but hopefully this will. I mean, you'll probably just say it's a load of rubbish anyway, which, you know, I disagree with, but we'll find out, won't we? So in case you can't read it or you want me to explain it, which I'm going to do now, here's the answer that I've done on Shock of God's question. Provide proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. Right, so my answer is this, and there's 3 parts to it, and the third part basically puts the first 2 together, so the third part's probably the simplest answer, but anyway, here we go. Atheism is the accurate and correct answer when there is no proof or evidence that shows that theism is correct. Since there is no evidence for theism, we have to assume that the belief is wrong, which therefore makes atheism correct. This will always stand until theism can be proved correct, which it has not so far. The only way to disprove a disbelief is to prove that the belief is correct, and so far, obviously, theism hasn't been proven correct. There is no evidence that shows that there is a God. And if this cannot be done, then the disbelief is the only logical answer. And it's the same with theories, you know, when scientists come up with theories, they're not just accepted, they have to be looked into, looked at, and often these theories go to nothing because they try them out in lots of different ways and they go to nothing. And you can't say prove that theory is wrong unless there is no proof of the theory. If there's no proof that the theory works or the theory is correct, then therefore we have to assume that it's not correct until it can be proved correct. Whenever a scientist has a new idea or they have a theory about something, people don't just believe it, and unless there is any evidence for that theory, because anyone can come up with a theory, the only way that people will believe it, and the only way that it becomes a logical theory and a logical answer, is if there is evidence that it works. And if there is none, and there is no evidence that there is a God, therefore the logical answer is atheism, because there is no God. And that does not have to be proven, and the proof for it, if you need proof for it, is that there is no evidence for God. So, altogether, atheism is accurate and correct because there is no evidence for theism, which therefore proves, until theism is proved correct, that atheism is correct, and therefore is the only accurate, correct, and logical answer to the question that Shock of God has posed. Provide proof and evidence that shows that atheism is accurate and correct. That is my answer. So I hope that Shock of God will look at that answer, probably just say it's a load of rubbish, but you know, you got to give a reason for it. And I haven't run away from the question this time, which hopefully you'll have some respect for, because I have to say I have looked at it and I have to see why you would get annoyed, because most people will just do exactly what I did out of naivety or foolishness or whatever on my first video, which is just say, well, it doesn't make any sense. So I've tried to make sense of the question, and hopefully that is an answer that you would say, even if you don't believe it's correct, you would say, well, at least he's answered the question, or at least he's tried to answer the question. You know, I suppose that in maths or math in America, you know, it's like Shock of God saying what's 2 plus 2, and everyone else is saying, well, it's not really correct or anything. And at least I'm answering it. And even if Shock of God believes that I'm saying 5, which it clearly is not, you know, at least it's still a straight answer, and I'm not running away from it saying, well, we don't know. It might be something else. Who knows? And it doesn't really make sense. Obviously, that's a bad example because 2 plus 2 is very obvious. And this is obviously not a very obvious topic. Right, so there's my answer. In my next video, I'll go through some of the other stuff because there is 2 other things that Shock of God said which are both incorrect. One of the things he says was, I have not read the Bible, which is very incorrect. I've spent a lot of time and I've read it, reread it, and checked it against a lot of historical evidence, and that's what I do now. And that's what I study. So, my point with I do not believe he is the Messiah. I was trying to find evidence, because I know, to support my own studies, need to find evidence that shows he's the Messiah. And like someone else said on a comment, I've got YouTube up actually, one person said to something I said about Jesus saying something. They said it was from John's Gospel, and they said, well, Jesus was not the liar, John was. Which, because in the Bible, everything that's said by someone is only allegedly said by someone, you know, unless you can cross-check it and cross-reference it against other things. It's only their say-so, and in the Bible, and it's very hard to check most of the things. It's very hard to check anyway. So, whether you believe that John was lying when he says, oh, Jesus said he was the Messiah, because obviously Jesus didn't write the Bible, other people wrote it about Jesus, so obviously mistakes can be made, and, you know, we got to question it. You can't just believe it because it's written in the Bible. You know, you've got to question things. But I have read the Bible many times, looked into it in a lot of detail, studied it, just like you would do in English literature. You track through the text, you really look in detail, and then you try and back it up with historical evidence, and if there is no historical evidence, why is there none? And things like that. So that'll probably be in my next video, if I need to get around to it, or if that's not a good enough explanation, I might do another video about it. Who knows? And then the second one is, Shock of God said that it's stupid for me to call myself an atheist because I'm Buddhist. He said it's stupid of me to call myself atheist when I have religion. And actually someone did point out, which I want to thank them for, I haven't got it up right now, that particular video that he made about me. I said actually there are some groups of Buddhists that do not believe in the God, and just because the Buddha believed in it does not make it correct. In fact, there was one of the quotes from the Buddha, which again I don't have right up now and I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it basically says, do not believe anything simply because it's written down, told by your elders, or anything. Do not believe anything simply because I tell it even. And this is the Buddha saying, don't believe anything necessarily even I say it, only believe in it if you understand it and it goes with your logic and not against your common sense and logic. And unfortunately, theism does. I mean, I cannot come to terms with the God, and that's because it just doesn't seem logical to me. And like I've said in my answer, why I believe atheism is correct, it's because there is no proof for it. And if there's no proof, I mean, I don't know why this is a special subject, because if this was about anything else, and someone said something, and then they said, okay, well, why? And they said, well, actually, I don't have any proof for it. People would just be like, well, it's stupid, and go away. And it's only because it's a sensitive issue, and an issue that affects a lot of people about God, that there isn't just this kind of, well, that's just a silly opinion. It's all this debating and everything, which, you know, I like. I do enjoy it, but to me, it just seems foolish. And I'm not saying that I don't have any respect for people that believe in God. I do completely, but I just saying that I don't think I could come to terms, and I don't, as much as I've spoken to a lot of theists and they tell me things about why they believe in a God, I have to say none of their arguments have swayed me, and this argument about saying, well, you're saying that your extreme is correct, because at the end of the day it's two extremes, theism or atheism, they're two extremes, and agnostics possibly in the middle, or the, you know, whatever agnostic is, really, whatever you can define it as, anywhere between, because if you're saying there's no God, or there is a God, or there are many gods, because obviously there isn't just theism, there's monotheism, polytheism, believing in lots of different gods. Theism is just a belief that there is a God. It's not a religion. Atheism is not a religion. Just that theism is not a religion. Because a lot of religions believe in theism, and some religions believe in atheism. There are many examples of these. Not just Buddhism, but a lot of different ones. A lot of ones that maybe aren't world religions, but there are a lot of different religions. And I do not believe in a God because it does not agree with my common sense, and so far there is no evidence for it. And I don't believe that there is a God because of the answer on the screen right now. There is no proof or evidence that shows theism is correct, which therefore proves that it's only the right answer to say that there is no God. If there's no proof for something, if there's no, like I say before, if it was about something else and there was no proof for it, you just say, well, that's stupid then. And this is different. This is about atheism or theism and whether this God is different, which is fine. But it's the same logic. It's the same idea that since there's no proof for it, you don't just believe it. Which is what I go by. There's no proof for it, and I don't see why I should believe it. The only things I really believe in are things that can be proven, which is what a logical mind does. Okay, so I'm sorry I've rambled on a bit, but hopefully you've got out of it what you wanted to, especially if Shock of God watches this, which I hope you do, Shock of God, because it is going to be a response to your video. Look at my answer. I've been straight with you. I've answered the question, so let's just see what you come out of it. And I hope you do try and try and say that's a silly answer, but I want to see why. I want to see what evidence that you've got a silly answer for. My voice is completely going. Sorry, I don't feel well, guys. But I've tried to get this video out, and it'll be out very, very soon after I've recorded it. It's much easier to upload it than it is to say it, especially when my voice is completely going. And like I say, I will make other videos. So, yeah, I'll talk to you later, guys. And I hope, like I say, Shock of God, please watch this. Thank you very much, guys.